This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening all. So in this tutorial, we will learn how to create forms in HTML. So here, form is a collection of data in HTML. So in HTML, forms are used to require to collect the different kinds of user inputs, such as contact list, contact details like name, email, address, phone number, details, etc. So here, how can you create this HTML forms is, so syntax for creating this HTML forms, just open this notepad first. So here, so we use HTML forms. So for this HTML forms, so syntax for writing this form, form. So this is a creating of form. Here, for this form containing special elements called controls, like a form containing special elements that is called controls. So here we have like input, like input box, and we have check boxes. We have check boxes, and we have radio buttons, and we have submit buttons, submit buttons, etc. And here, so we have we have a form concepts like HTML form elements, HTML form elements, and we have HTML input types, HTML input types. We have HTML input attributes, and we have HTML input form attributes, input form attribute. Coming to HTML forms, so here we use the text field, use the text field. For this text field, so here the text fields are like a line area that will allow the user to enter the input text. So text field is nothing but it is a line area that allows the user to enter the input text. So here we can use this label tag. You can use the label tag. So label tag is used to define label for input elements, and label tag is defined for label for input, and we have focus on input elements. We use a label here. We have password field. So we have password field here. For this password field, it is similar to the text field. It is only the difference between the characters. The characters in the password field are marked as either character or it will be shown as asterisk. So you know the asterisk. So this nothing but, so this is the asterisk. So it will show some asterisks here. We have the radio buttons. We have radio buttons. For these radio buttons, so radio buttons are easy to tell this. user can select exactly one option or else predefined options will be available in this radio buttons. And we have the checkboxes. We have checkboxes. For these checkboxes allows to user to select one or more options, predefined set of options. So we have a bunch of options in there. So user want to select any of this option. So we can provide predefinedly to the user. So we can use the checkboxes. Similarly, radio buttons. And we have a reset button is there. We have a reset button. A reset. So reset button, we use this reset button to reset the form data. And in this form, we use the input element. Input is most commonly used element in the form. Most commonly used. Most commonly used element. Here in these forms, so we need to discuss lots of attributes, lots of input types, and we have like input attributes, and we have input form attributes. So here uh, we'll develop one form. So let's open Visual Studio. So here I'm just creating the new program. Create a new program, and we can save it form.html. So I choose HTML here, and here you can save it form.html. So for this one, we need to create a new program. So here we just created the new program, and we'll take here form. Form. First, how do you create these forms? So you know how to write the form. You know the syntax for creating the form here. So I take the form. So I just remove this action here. We'll learn in future sections. So we have form here. For this form, we need to write input element. So input is the most commonly used element within the HTML, within the form. We can use this input. To place the text field, we use here input. And for this input, we use the type attribute to enter the, to create the text boxes. To create the text fields, we use this type here. So here I'm just taking the name. Then I just take the BR here, and I take BR to break the line, and we get this input here. Take input. So input, I take type equal to text. So it will create the text field, and we just created the input type text here. And similarly, we create one or more fields. So I take BR to break the line, and here I will provide email. So I take email. For this email, we provide input. So input type, we provide text here. See, we can take the text here as well as we can take email also. So we have lots of input types is there. So that will be discussed in coming sessions. So here I take email. So for this email, we take this email here, and we have this password. We have a password. For this password, I take BR, and here we take this input. Input type equal to, if we write text, the password is visible. So here we'll take the text here. Later we'll change this to password. And we take BR here. Now we need to create the submit button. So for creating the submit buttons in HTML, there are three ways of creating the submit buttons. Like three ways of creating the buttons here. Like we can use the anchor tag. We need to create a button, and we have this button tag. And one more method is input. So input in this type, we take the button. So here you can provide this input type button, or else If you write type submit, if you write type submit. So here you take this to either submit or button here. Now I provide this value here, value. So for this value, we'll type this submit here. So what are the value you can enter in this input? That value will be visible on the button here. So like this, we can create the button. Now we can run this one on the browser. So if you run this one on the browser, right click and open with the default. Here we have this browser will be open. Now look at this one. We have created the form here. Now go to this Visual Studio. So here followed by, so here we take this BR. We take BR here. Go to this browser, reload this page. So we just created the form here. So this is a general form. This is general form. So here I just take this H1 and provide general form. Creation of a general form. Go to this browser, reload this page. So just created the general form here. See like this, we can create the form like name, email, password. In this name, we can enter our name and here followed by email. So like xyz the right gmail.com. Now here we can type this name here. So if you type this name here, if you look at this one, if you type the name, so name the password is visible, right? We need to hide these characters, like we need to hide this text instead of taking here. So here I'm taking this input as a text, right? So instead of taking here, so I just provide password here. I'll go to this browser, reload this page, and here we can provide its name here. So we can provide name and we'll provide here Gmail, gmail.com, and here we can enter the password. Okay, we have this asterisk like this. So this is a general form. This is a general form creating like this. And we also create using the labels. So using the labels, we create the forms here. And here I'm taking this one. So I just write using the label tag. Using the label tag, I'm going to create this forms here. So I just created the form. So for this form, just remove this action here. We take label tag. We take a label. In this label, we provide for here. So for is stands for. So we can use this for. We can highlight the input field. We can highlight the input field. We use the for attribute instead of label. For attribute, here I just provide this name here. We take a name, and here I just type name. So if you want, you can write first name. Take the first name here. First name. So for this first name, here I can provide first name. First name. And below this label, so here we take a input tag. Take input. Take the input and type text here to access this label. So here we use the ID. So ID is to access this label element. So we copy the name here, copy the name in the for attribute, and you can place inside of this ID. Now we just created the input here. Now we have email. So for this email, we just create the last name. So here I take the last name, For this last name, we provide last name, last name here. And below that, we take a input tag. Take the input. For this input, we'll provide this text, and we take ID here. For this ID, copy this last name and paste it inside of this ID. In order to access this input element, we need to give ID. Now, we take email. So here, I'm taking this label tag. So label, we use the for. This for will provide email. So I take the email. I take email here. Email, and we'll provide this some text here. This text will provide this email. Now, take the input elements. Take the input. Inside in the input, we write. So we write email. So here we provide this email, and here we can write. Here we can write for. Sorry. Here we can take this ID. So ID we need to write email, and we take this password. So I take this label for password, and here followed by password. I take the password here, and we take this input element. We take the input, this input. So here you can provide, instead of text, you just provide the password. Take the password here, and so here take ID in order to access this label element. So followed by name. That's it. And below that, we need to create submit button. So here I'm taking, I take the BR, and I will provide this submit button. How do you create the submit button? Input, type. So here your wish. So you can type this button. So in the above we can take this submit, right? Below we take the button here. So we can develop the button in two ways. So we can write the button in two ways. One is the button type submit, and we can write this type equal to button, and the value we can provide this value here. Here we can write this submit. So in this value, instead of writing the submit, we can also write the sign in, sign up, whatever message you want. Send button, we need to write in the values. That's it. So we just created the form using this label tag. Now go to this browser, reload this page. See, look at this one. We just created the form here. See, form is like horizontal, right? We need to access this one. So here we take this BR elements. Take the BR, and here also take the BR here. Take BR elements. Take the BR. BR is stands for break the line. It will break the line here. Now go to this browser, reload this page. See, look at this one. We have form here. So like this, we can create the form using the label tag. Now in this form elements, we'll use the input attributes. What are the input attributes having that we can use here? So here I'm taking input attribute. Input attribute. For this input attribute, here, so we have this input, right? So we have the placeholder. So placeholder is the attribute which tells that, so tells the user, it will gives the user that like appearance, like it tells the user to enter the details. So we can write here the placeholder, enter your name, enter first name, enter first name. So it tells the user that we can enter the first name here. Now go to this browser, reload this page. See, look at this one. So we have enter the first name here. And similarly, we can write down input buttons. We use a placeholder to display the text here inside of the input field. So here we write enter. So enter second name, enter the last name, last name. And similarly, we can write placeholder for this email. Enter your email. Enter. Sorry, take the placeholder and enter your name. Now go to this browser, reload this page. So we have this placeholder here. So like this, we can place the text inside of input field placeholder. So here we can type this one and we can type the name here. So that's one. That's it. So we can type these values like this. Is about this input attributes, like that is a placeholder. Now go to this form. So here, so for this button, as a I will write the value here. What is the value? So here, this value we can provide instead of submit button. We'll take this send button also. We change this to send button. Go to this browser, reload this page. So we have this send button, and we can provide this default values here for this form. So here, if you write these values, so values will be as a default position. Like if you take this value, we'll provide here storage. Now go to this browser, reload this page. Look at this one. So if you provide the values, what happen? The value will be defaultly placed inside of this input field. So in order to enter your name, so you can always, always remove your name and we can enter your names. So that is the use of this value attribute. Don't provide the values in the form field. If you provide this value, it will take this default here. And we have, so like this, we use this input using the label names. We have radio buttons. We have radio buttons. So for this one, we need to create a reset buttons. So how do you create the reset? In order to reset your form data, so here we can write, so take this input, and in this input, I just provide type. This type we will provide this reset, and we'll take here value reset here. Now go to this browser, reload this page. So we have this reset option is there. So in this we can provide some name and we'll reset this one. So everything will be reset here like this. We need to create how do you create the reset button? Just use the type as a reset here. That is a input type attribute. There is input attribute. In this input, we can use the type here. On coming to, so we have this radio buttons. We have radio buttons. For this radio buttons, so here I'm taking this H1. So H1, I'll just provide this radio buttons. Radio buttons. For this radio buttons, take the form. Set up form will provide radio buttons. I take the label. For this label, we'll provide this man. For this radio buttons, we can use any of this one. I use this football. So I take the person. And here, power bike. So we can provide this cursor. And I take radio buttons. Here we can provide this input. So input, this type instead of text, we can provide this radio buttons. Provide a radio here. So radio is stands for radio button. Now just copy this. Just copy this label. I make a copy here below that and take this one. Now we can here we can change this to here like cricket. So I use here cricket Now here we provide this cricket, and here also. So we have this radio buttons, and here we can change this to baseball, and we'll provide here baseball. Baseball here. Now go to this browser. Go to this browser. Reload this page. So we have these radio buttons. See, look at this one. We have these radio buttons. See, look at this one. If we select any of this option, if we select this one, and if we select this one, if we select this one. So here, disadvantage is using this one. See, look at this one. If we select all these buttons, I don't want to select all these radio buttons. I need to select any of this button here. So in order to select this any of this button, go to this Visual Studio. So in this Visual Studio, we'll provide this name here. So we'll provide this name and provide this equal name here. So I'll just provide this sports. I just given same name for all the input field. So write the same names. Take the sports, and here also we'll provide this here name sports here. So we can use the name attribute. So name is the attribute used for this validation purpose. For the form validations, we can use the name attribute here for this PHP. So here we can provide this sports. Now go to this browser, reload this page. So if we select this icon, and if you select this one, okay, so it will select right. Now go to this Visual Studio. So here we take the value. The value I'm taking the sports here. Now here also I just copy this value here, just copy, and we can paste it for inside of this input element. And here also we can provide this value here. Put this Google, refresh this one, go down here, and we can select any of this one. Look at this one. What happened? So we did a mistake here. Yeah, we can check this one. Sports. Yeah, we did a mistake here. We given the misspell. Now we can work perfectly. Yeah, that's it. So this is the creating of radio buttons here. Now we have check boxes. So here we'll take the check boxes. So for these check boxes, so I take this H1. Instead of H1, we write check box. For these check boxes, take the form. Take the form here. So I just remove this action. For this form, we'll write the check boxes. So I take this label. I just write yeah, we'll check here. We take this label, and here we can write gender specification. So I just take the man. So for this man, I just provide this man, or else will provide this HTML. Take this HTML here, and for this for, take this HTML. No need to write for here. Just take this HTML is enough. Now we have this HTML, and here we can write this input. Take this input, and inside of this input, we'll write this checkbox. checkbox, and I just copy of this one. So I take this, just copy, I'll make it two more copies. So I just copy this one and you can paste it here and we'll write CSS. Write the CSS here and we have JavaScript. We have it here. Now go to this browser, reload this page, go down here. So we have these check boxes. Look at this one. We have these check boxes. For these check boxes, there is no like there is no. We can select any of these boxes here. We can select all the boxes. So there is no predefined options for selecting only one for these check boxes. So we have these radio buttons. We need to select any of these sports here. For these check boxes, so here we write. So we have provided a lot of attributes here for these check boxes. So here we can write. We write check means. If you write the check here, so by default the first one will be in the check position. If you write this checkered attribute, go to this browser, reload this page. See, look at this one. So by default, it will be the check position. So it will select all these options here like this. If you want to select this multiple options, you can write this multiple here. You can write multiple here. And if you write this checker equal to checker, so this checker equal to checker. So this attribute tells that if you refresh this one, so we have this checker equal to checker. That means it is also for checker position. See, look at this one. So like this, we can use these check boxes here. We can use the check boxes. And coming to, so here, so check boxes is completed. And coming to this notepad, notepad plus plus. So here, the form elements, the form. So we have the attributes here. So we have attribute. And we use the action attribute. The first one is the action attribute. For this action attribute, so here the action is the attribute defines the action perform. The action is performed when the form is submitted. When the user click on the submit button, some action will be performed. The action will be takes place in the action to this action attribute. The action attribute defines that the attribute it performs when the form is submitted. So we use this action attribute. In this action attribute, we'll provide this URL here and will takes place the form submission. So actually we'll write a PHP file for this action attribute. Here we have this form, right? For this form, I just use this action attribute here. I take the action. Right now we don't have any PHP page, right? For the form validations, we can use this action. So here we just created one new program. So here I'm just creating the new program. Just write like success. I take this success.html. I take this success.html. So for this one, we just created the new program. And we write here, we take this style. So here I'm just providing, I take this h1, followed by some message here. So your form is submitted. Successfully submitted. We'll get back to you soon. We will contact you soon. So like this. So we just created one message here, here followed by. So we take the h1. We take this h1 and we'll write here. So inside of h1, we'll provide color. Provide this color and followed by some more green here. Now we just created this success.html. Now go to this form here and we'll follow here. We'll just write success.html. It says that whenever user submit this form data, the form will be takes with the success.html. So go to your browser, just reload this page. So if you click on this send button, if you click on this one, it will happen. This Visual Studio, just write action success.html. We'll take here submit, and here also we'll provide this submit button here. We'll provide submit. Go to this browser, reload this page, and we'll submit this form. You look at this one. If you submit this form, your form is successfully submitted. So we will contact you soon. So like this. So here we can place the URL inside of this action attribute. Inside of action attribute, will you place the URL here? See, look at this one. We use the target attribute. If you submit this form, it will be submitted in the same page, right? Or else, if you want to navigate to another window or another browser, so here we can use the target attribute. Target attribute specifies that where to display the response of the received input, so where to be displayed after submitting the form. So here we use the target attribute. In this target, so we have already known that target blank, target self, target top. We have so target. We have last lot of options here. I just use this target here. For this target, I use the target blank, target blank here. Now go to this browser, reload this page. So if you click on the submit button, that will be submitted here. Just close this one. So like this, we can provide this action attribute. So here, for this form submission, for the form validations, we can use the methods here. So we use the method attribute. Next one is method attribute. So we use this method attribute. So while using this method, so keep one point in your mind. So while using this method attribute, if you use any of this method, you must use this name here. So we need to specify the form. We need to specify the name attribute. So without name, the form will not be submitted using this method. Okay. So keep remember this one. So method attribute. So for this method attribute, it specifies that HTTP methods like high hypertext, high secured protocol. So this is a method used to when submitting the form data. In order to submit the form data, we use the methods here. So in this method, so we have available two methods is there. So one is the get method. One is get method. One is a get method and one is a post method. So we have one is a get and one is a post method. So here for the get method, so get is appends the data in the URL itself. So if you use the get method, user want to get the data. So developer won't prefer this get data. Why? Because so get is not secure, and also get provide. So only it will allow 2448. So 2048 characters only it will allow. And whereas this get method, if you use this get method, the data will append on the URL. So what are the data we can enter in the get method? That URL will be shown at the top of the book box. So developers mostly would prefer this get method. If you use the get method, the user can the hackers will be easily hack your data. So next we use the post method. So post is high secure data. It will append the data to the body section and it will transform the data through post, and it will not show in the URL. What are the data you can enter in the form data that is not shown in the URL itself. So first is a high secure and sensitive data, and most of the developers use this first method. So first, we need to use this form validations. We can use this post method here. Coming to this Visual Studio, so we have to use here post. So before going to use this post, we need to write some validations. So here we can provide this name attribute. So name followed by first name, first name, and here, so we can use this input, and here we can write this name, last name, provide last name, and we use here email. So email will take this name attribute, we'll write this name attribute, and we'll provide email. Email here, and here for this password we'll provide name, name, email, and for this buttons we need to provide here. I just take this name and we'll write submit, submit button. Now I just hide this one, reset button. Now go to this browser. Before going to run this one, we need to set this method, right? So here we take this method. So in this method, we have this get and post method. So I use the get method here. So get is a appended data to bookbox, and get is not sensitive data. So developers won't prefer this get method. So it is not high secure, and mostly it will not allow the. So it will allow only 2048 characters only. Whereas post method unlimited. Post have there is no restriction to have the post method. Now go to this browser, reload this page. See, look at this one. So if we enter this Suresh, and here we can write last name, and here we can provide this some Gmail, and here we can enter this. Take this passport, Suresh, and submit here. We submit this data. See, look at this one. So have you observed this URL? So first name Suresh, last name Krishna, and email will provide this email here. And we have this password. So here Suresh123. So like this. So don't use the get method while submitting the form button. So we can always use post method here. Next, let's refresh this one. So just close this one, and we use this post method. Use this instead of get, we can use the post method. Post method. Now go to this browser, reload this page, and we'll take this here, and here we can follow by, and here we can write trace reference. Now we can run this one on the browser. You run this one on the browser. See, look at this one. So nothing will shown in the URL itself. So it is hide the details. What are the details we can enter in the form details? That will be hide here. So we have high secured protocol. We use the always post method. We can close this one. So like this, we can take the get and post method here. And in this form, see, look at this one. I just refresh this one. So look at the form here. When you user click on the submit button, so it will be submitted, right? I don't want to submit this one. So user want to enter each and every details here. So here we need to write a required attribute. That is form input attributes. So we can use this required attributes. So we have this read only, disabled, required, and we have this max length. So lots of attributes are available here. And here we can write required. Sorry. So required you need to write here for this input. So what is the use of this required? So required is an attribute which tells that so user want to enter the details. So if you miss any columns, it won't submit it. Form won't be submitted here. And we use here required attribute. So we use the required attribute. Now, similarly, we can write for this input. All the input field, we can write this required attribute. And we'll write for this required. Go to this browser. So we have this required, and here also. We'll provide this required. Now go to this browser, reload this page. So if you submit this button. You submit this button. Look at this one. So please enter the field here. That's right. So each and every field is mandatory. We can write the required here. And here for the first name. So where is our first name? So this is our first name, right? So for this first name, here we can write read only. If we write this read only, so it is for this reading purpose only. So look at this one. We can't edit this one. See, we can't edit this one. So it is for only reading purpose. If you write this disabled, here. So disabled means this form is entirely disabled. If you run this one on the browser, this field is disabled here. You can't edit and read and write this data. And like this. So we have this input attributes here. If you want to increase the size of this input field, so we can use the size here. So we use the size and we'll provide this 50 or 60, whatever it is. Size is an attribute to increase the size of input field. We refresh this one. See, look at this one. We just increase this size here. And in order to increase the size, we can use the styles also. And we can provide this width and height attribute to increase the height of this input field. We can also use the width and height here. Next we have, see, look at this one. If you enter this characters, see, so if you enter this characters here, so it go on taking n number of characters. If you don't want to allow this one, so here we need to enter at least like 20 characters, or you need to mention some specifications like restrictions for this one. So here we take this max. So max value. So for this max value, we'll provide these 20 characters. So go to this browser, reload this page, and if you enter this more than this 20 characters, so it won't take. See, look at this one. It will allow only the 20 characters. Okay, it will take more than this one, right? Okay, so we have this max value will be state that max or minimum value. We'll write this dates here. So for this one here we can mention this max length. Max length. So for this max length, we'll provide this 20 characters. Now go to this browser, reload this page, and here, so it will won't allow 20 characters. If you type this one, you look at this one. If you're typing this one, it won't allow this more than 20 characters. So like this. So here, so we'll write this label, right? What is the use of this label, right? So if you click on this name button, if you click on this first name, so this automatically highlighting the form field. If you click on this, any of this, if you click on this email, if you look at this, if you click on this text here, so it will highlighting the form field. So it will highlighting the form field here. So like this. And if you want to highlight this form field, we can write autofocus. So autofocus is an attribute. It set the input field to autofocus. autofocus here. Go to this browser, reload this page. So by default, this input field is the autofocus. Now look at this one. So look at this form here. So if you enter this last name, by default it will show some suggestions, right? If you want to hide the suggestions, so we have autocomplete. So autocomplete we need to write here. So in this form we need to write here. We'll provide this autocomplete. Autocomplete off here. So autocomplete off is just that. So we won't provide data here. See, look at this one. The data will not come. You need to enter manually for every time. So that is the use of this autocomplete. In this autocomplete, we have this on and off feature. If you write this on here, now go to this browser, reload this page. See, look at this one. If you type this one, it gives the suggestion here. So like this. So here, we'll take this off position, off here. And we use the step. So step is to increase the step for this one. So like how many, if you write these numbers, whatever it is. And coming to this, so that is all about this input attributes and form attributes. So we have this input methods. We have input methods. So coming to this form elements. So I told you that form elements, right? So HTML form elements is nearly like, so we have this input and we have this label and we have, so we have select and we have text area, text area, and we have, so we have this field set, and we have legend, we have a legend, and we have the data list, and we have this output. So output will not explain. So we have this data list, and we have this text area field set like this. So coming this input types. So coming the HTML input types. So input types we have. So we have this checkboxes. So we can write like this, type equal to radio buttons, radio. So type equal to, so here we'll take this password, and we take this type equal to, followed by range, and type equal to, so here we have this color, and type equal to, we have date, and type equal to, we have URL. If you want to upload any files here, so we can write here file. We can write the file here. We can write the file, and we have, so we have this submit. We have the submit, and we have this time, and we have type, and we have text, we have time, and we have week, here, and we have type, search, and we have type. So here we write hidden, and we type, followed by email, and we write type, we write the type. So here we can provide this local, and we can also provide this date time local. So this is not local, date time local. And we can also write like a month. We'll provide this month. We'll provide this telephone. So TEL stands for telephone. So type. We also write the patterns. We also write the pattern here. TEL, and we'll follow this date of birth. So we'll provide this date. We can write this date here like this. So like this, we have this so much of input attributes is available in a HTML input attributes, and we have this form attributes. So this form attributes has, we have this input attributes, right? For this input attributes, we can write read only, read only, and followed by disabled, disabled, and we have the size, we have max value, max, and we have this max length, and we have this width, height, width and height. We have autofocus, autocomplete. Autocomplete is not comes under this. Will comes under this form attributes. Form attributes. So we'll take this auto, autocomplete. Autocomplete equal to on or off. So here, so we have this required attribute, required, and we use this pattern. Which pattern you want? Like 0 to 9 numbers. For these telephones, we can use these patterns, and we use the placeholder, placeholder, and we use this value attribute, and we use this placeholder value, and we use name, and we use this multiple, use the multiple here, this one. And coming to this form attribute, we have form action. So form action will be written in the submit button. So here we can write a form form method. So form method also same, and we have form encrypt data, and form target. We use this form target like this. So this is all about form attributes. So form input attributes, and we have HTML input types here. Now go to this Visual Studio. So here we need to discuss about text area. So here we need to enter some more. We need to enter like so here I'm taking this BR, and we need to take, or else if you want to add some messages, and if you want to add some addresses, whatever it is, we can followed by text area here. So text area is a we will provide this description about this user, and if you want you can take this. Here I'm taking this label. So label I'm just take a message, and here we followed by some message here, message. And coming to this below this label, so here we used to take our text area. So text area is follows that. So combination of calls on rows here. Calls stands for columns, rows stands for rows here. So columns it will take this 30 and rows it will take the 10 here. And we'll provide this ID. So take this ID as a message. And here also we can provide this placeholder and we'll enter your message. Now go to this browser, reload this page. So we have this text area. Look at this one. We have this text area like this. And here, so go to this Visual Studio. So we can cut this one. So we can cut this input field. I can paste it below this passport here. Now go to this browser. Reload this page. So we have this text area. The text area will be what here. So that is the text area. In text area will provide these columns and rows here. So how many rows, how many columns you want. That's coming to. So here we have field set. We have field set. So in order to group the form data, so we use the field set here. In order to group the form data, we use field set. So here for this field set, we take the form. So here instead of form, we can provide this hash here, and we take this field set. So in this field set, we use the legend. Legend is a tag. Legend is a tag. It will allow us to give caption for this field set. So take legend for this legend. So please fill the form. We'll provide some matter here, some text here. Please fill the form, or fill the below form. We write fill the below form. Now we just go top here. We just copy this form. We can paste it inside of this. We have this general form, right? Just copy this form. Sorry, we just copy this input. We can paste it inside of this. Just copy this one. Go down here. So this field set will provide text here. Now go to this browser. Reload this page. Go down here. Go down here. Look at this. So we have this field set here. And open this Visual Studio. So here we'll take some heading here. So I just take this heading and given field set. Field set here. Go to this Chrome, go to this page. And if you go down here, so we have field set. So like this, we create the field set like this. So field set, in this field set we can use the legend. Legend is a tag which gives the caption for this field set. So field set from group related data. Field set is a group related data here. And we have predefined. So we have this drop down list also there available in this format. So how to create this drop down list? Drop down list. So here I'm taking this H1 and select. So using select here, I take a form. So in this form, and provide this hash here, and we'll take select option. Take this select. So select. We'll remove this one. We don't want to name this select here. So for this select option, we'll take this options here. Option. So for this option, we'll provide this card. So here our value will provide this. I take the banana. Here also we provide this banana. And similarly, we can take this copy, we make a copy here, and we'll change to here. We'll change the name to orange, orange, and here also we'll provide this orange here. So names of the foods here. So here also we'll change this name to grapes, and here also we'll provide this grapes here, and something here we'll take mango. Here also we'll provide this mango, and here we can provide this watermelon, and we'll provide this. So here provide this watermelon. Now just remove this one. So we have this enough options. So you will select, inside of this select we will provide these options here, and these options will give these values. Go to this browser, reload this page, go down here. So we have this select options. If we select this one, still look at this one. So we just select any of this one, and we can set, you can click on the submit, it will be submitted. So we have these predefined drop downs. So use it to create the using this select here. So in this select, we will provide this multiple values. So here, how many values we can display? You can use this size. So size, you can provide these two values, and so we need to select the multiple selections. So here we can write this multiple. Go to this browser, leave this page, go down here, it will be displayed to here, and you can select using this control, you can select any of these options here. So any of these options. So like this, we can use this select options. Next, we have this last concept. So that is we have the data list. We have the data list here. So data list is a predefined content. That is, it will give the self predefined drop downs for the users. So we use the data list. So I take this H1. So in this H1 we will provide this data list. So for this data list, I take form provided by hash here, and we take this input. So in this input, followed by, so don't take this input here. So first we need to take this data list. We take the data list. So here we take this data list, and inside of this data list followed by input. The input we use this text, and here we use the list attribute. So list is the attribute, will follow this input here. So we use the list here. List we use the browsers here. And below this input, we need to write some options here, some options for this data list here. So here I'm taking this input and provided by below this one, we need to write option. I take this option here. So in this option, followed by, we'll remove this one. So for this value, we'll provide here like that you can write any of this one. So for this browsers, I take this ID. ID is no right. So I take this edge here, internet edge, and I just copy this one. And here it will provide by Chrome. So I just provide Firefox, and here followed by you can write this Chrome, and here we have the Safari. We have Safari here. So how do you take this data list? The form, we can take this input. So input will be provided outside of this data list. So here we take this input here. So for this input, we'll provide this list items. So list, we need to access this one. We take this ID here. We take the ID and followed by browsers. So followed by browsers. For this list, we need to access this data inside of data list. And in this input, we'll take this list and we'll give this name attribute here. So here we take this name and followed by browsers. Take the browsers. So it will give this two predefined options for this users here. Now, so this data list is tag defines that predefined options for this input field. The data list tag is used to provide autocomplete features for input elements. It is a autocomplete features for input elements. So this data list attribute is must equal to the input elements that we can use the list to access this one. So for this data list, it will support for this Chrome latest version is 20, and it will support the latest version of Internet Edge, that is 10, and we have this Firefox 4.0 and Safari 12.0, and we have this Opera 9.5. Now we can run this one on the browser. Go to this browser, load this page. If you go down here, so if we come down here, so we have this data list. So look at this one. If you tap this one, so we have this predefined options will available for this user using this data list. So that is the use of this data list here. That's all the concepts for this form here.
This conference will now be recorded.